Hi, Red Slicers. It's Maria Ross here, and we are talking video today. Have you thought about doing more video to increase your brand awareness, increase your brand delight, and just really connect with your audience? Today, I am so thrilled to be joined by Nathan Agan. He is the founder of Videos in One Take, which helps entrepreneurs become more powerful and captivating in their videos for opt ins or sales, your about page, your blog. And that leads to more engagement and conversions. As we all know, a video is kind of king right now if you're on the web. He has appeared in feature films, a Super Bowl commercial, and on Jimmy Kimmel Live. And he has also produced and hosted a TV quality travel food pilot, which is right up my alley. He's a classically trained actor. He's created over 400 YouTube videos. On his Videos in One Take blog, he explains how he does it, and his website is nathanagan.com. Nathan, welcome. I am so thrilled to talk to you today about how to create more effective videos. I know my audience is kind of dying to hear about that for more brand oomph. So welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Maria. My pleasure to be here.
So, why don't you give us your take a little bit about your take on Videos in One Take, and just really quickly, why did you start this business, and what do you help entrepreneurs or website owners, or I guess sort of anyone that's trying to build a digital platform and connect with their audience? Why did you start this business?
I think it really began for me as a way to overcome perfectionism because, that was something I struggled with, many years ago. I still do to some degree today, but I'm in that kind of category of recovering perfectionist. But
We all
many years ago, it was really getting in my way. There was a video I wanted to do, and it took me, a really long time to do it, and it was just ridiculous. And I saw the power of, just kind of winging it, doing just one take and running with it, whatever it was. I was doing a lot of blogging at that time, and I saw the benefit of that. So when I had this idea for the site and help people with video, it was kind of born out of that I think there are a lot of great people talking about gear and technical stuff and lighting and sound, and that can all be very helpful. I think it can also sometimes hinder the process and can make people feel overwhelmed by, well, I don't have this kind of microphone or this kind of camera or this lighting setup, or, I don't have a teleprompter and I'm not really, I don't know how to do all these things. I don't even know
right.
where to start with editing. Like, there's just so many ways to overwhelm you. Then you think about people are overwhelmed by just being on camera. It's for some people it's scary. Some people do Skype calls, but they don't want to turn on their camera because they're like, I hate how I
Right.
look, or so there's all that on top of the gear overwhelm. So for me, it became, well, how can I help people focus more on just becoming more comfortable, more confident, and clear on camera, so that we can get over the perfectionism and just start making videos. And this Videos in One Take was something that I had worked on. Like, can I do videos in just one take and be happy with them and be satisfied with them and get better at doing that? So that is kind of a small piece of how this started and why I want to do it.
Great. And we should mention we're just recording this on Skype, so it's really easy to get started.
Yeah, exactly. Like, whether you want to interview other, whether you or, I'm saying you, like you and other people watching,
Our
no,
audience,
yeah,
yes.
the audience, whether, you watching this or you, Maria, interviewing me, wanted to do videos with other people, it can be as simple as getting on Skype and hitting record. Like, it doesn't have to be, a crazy setup. Like, because the point is, you have something you want to share, you have something you want to say, or there is someone that you want to get information from and share that with people. And there's a lot of ways to create obstacles for yourself and create roadblocks for yourself.
Right.
And so the technical part, we want to try to avoid that. We want to try to just, how can we get right to what is it you want to share, and how can you do that in an effective way, in a fun way, in a way that brings out your personality? Because in person, it's very easy. I'm sure you're the same way. In person, if you're talking to someone about what you do, you light up, you get energized. It's something you love talking about. But for a lot
Right.
of people, that disappears on camera. So it's like, well,
Oh
what
yeah, they start talking like this and they're not really sure what they're saying. And yeah,
exactly? So
exactly. I
it's
mean,
like,
I think the passion and the personality of their brand sometimes gets lost,
hmm
and it's really interesting to me when I work with clients. What I do with them is, I say put away the sort of the marketing speak and just tell me why you started your business, and
hmm
that's when they light up. That's
right.
that's the stuff that their messaging and their copy should be based on. And I think it's the same thing with video. Sometimes it's just the organic conversation about what you do where you and I are just sitting here in our home offices and we're recording this and we're still going to create something valuable for people. So
Absolutely.
um, why do you think that video is so important for an online business these days?
I think because we can be so separated by distance, and people are so pulled in different directions. Uh, every few minutes you get a new email newsletter about something else you've signed up for, or there's a blog post or Facebook or whatever. There's it's the cliches that so much is competing for our attention.
Hmm.
You see how effective video can be in terms of really engaging with people and really
Hmm.
holding their attention. And certainly you see this on Facebook when you upload a video directly to Facebook. As people scroll, it automatically plays because
Right.
it's going to grab your attention. It's going to hold your attention more than
Hmm.
text, more than a picture. That the moving images are what we gravitate toward.
Hmm.
And so with video, if you can do that on your website, it's a great way to grab people's attention first, but then it's a way for you, if it's just you and a camera, or even just simply you and your laptop, like we're doing here,
Hmm.
it's a way for you to relate to that person and share with them, what you're doing. And so whether you're running a company that has 50 employees or it's just you, it's a way
Hmm.
for you as a brand to personalize that more, to
Hmm.
make that a more relatable brand, because it shows that there are actual people behind it. And I think that's also where we've evolved, in terms of a society. We want to be more personal in our transactions. We're
Hmm.
looking for more transparency. We're looking for more, there's more of an emphasis on customer service these days.
Hmm.
And so, if you can do that with your videos in terms of bringing your personality forward, bringing, the people of your organization, to your customers, that's going to make those transactions easier and smoother, because it's all about building trust and credibility. That's what people are looking for. And video
Hmm.
is an amazing way to do that, because there's nothing to hide behind. It's like, well, it's just me and a camera, and this is who I am, and
Right.
this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm
Right.
sharing. And if that relates, resonates, and you can relate to that, well, then here are different things we're doing.
Good stuff. So, kind of the nuts and bolts of this, there's a lot of people. I mean, you and I both come from an acting background.
Hmm
I'm not really afraid of the camera. I like the camera. I like performing. Doesn't mean I don't get nervous though, and it doesn't mean that we don't have some fears.
hmm
So for people that do get paralyzed by, oh my God, I just can't believe I'm going to create this permanent record, and that's so scary to me. How can they get over their fear of being on camera?
Well, I'll tell you
Do you
right
have any
now.
tips?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell I have nerves right now, talking to you, and it's not because I'm worried about, oh God, I'm talking to Maria, or anything like that. It brings up the anxiety that we all feel. Like, just because
Absolutely.
I've trained in this and I've done this doesn't mean I don't have nerves with this, because of course I want to speak, somewhat eloquently, and I'm aware I'm on camera and it's being recorded. Like, all those things go
Right.
through your mind. But in terms of what can you do just to get over those initial hurdles of
Hmm.
of being terrified, there are a few things that come to mind. Number one, it is definitely about, or it can be about, your relationship to the camera.
Hmm.
That, obviously this is a very foreign thing. That,
Hmm.
it is not very normal that, we stare at a piece of plastic and electronics and talk to it and share with it
Hmm.
our innermost feelings or thoughts. Like,
Right.
that is bizarre.
Yeah.
And so it takes a skill to be able to develop that relationship. But like with any person out there, you can do that. You can start to appreciate, this camera a little bit more, and start to develop this relationship, so that whether at the beginning you have to imagine, you're talking to your best friend, that's where you can start. It's like, okay, this camera, I mean, the camera is your best friend in that it won't judge you, it won't ever lie to you, it wants to listen to everything you have to say, it will totally take it all in. So on that side, the camera is on your side, and it's a great friend. So that's what you want to think about going into this, is that this is not something judging you. You're just having a conversation with someone that really, really wants to hear what you have to say. So if you even need to picture or put a photo of,
I was going to say, do you
friend,
recommend putting a photo up of someone maybe, or even if for some people that might really be scared, do you recommend they actually have a friend of theirs on the other side of the camera that they might be able to talk to, at least when they start?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely different things. The more, I mean, if it's kind of like a direct to camera video, like you and I are each doing, the more you can focus really on the eye of the camera, the lens of the camera, like that's the sweet spot. So
Right.
the quicker you can get comfortable talking to that, the better. So,
Right.
but yes, in the beginning, if you want to have someone just to the side of the camera, or a picture of someone just to the side of the lens, that's totally fine. I mean, whatever is going to help you get started, knowing that you want to kind of aim towards the lens, that's where you want to focus on eventually.
Right.
So
Right.
that can be a great way to get over the fear. The other thing, then, I need to remember to do this even while we're talking, is breathe.
Breathe.
It's just like, because
It's so hard.
I can feel myself even getting a little worked up, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little anxious, and just,
Yeah.
and if I were doing a video by myself, I could always cut that out later. I could just do a transition or something, or start over if it's something short. Just be like, okay, you know what, I was really anxious in that take, and I'm just gonna breathe like 5 times really deeply, just to kind of center myself, feel a little bit more grounded in what I'm doing. Go, okay, this is what I want to talk about. All right, this is, okay, I want to talk about this point and this point. Or if you have a Post-it note on your computer screen, or something, you have the notes so you can see them.
Yeah.
So that you can just kind of reference it, but you don't have to, you don't have to look around for your notes. You don't need a teleprompter. You're just going, okay, here's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And then go. And then the final thing I'll say right now, I mean, we could talk about this for hours, but
Yeah, so let's just kind of recap really quickly. First one is sort of make friends with the camera, pretend you're talking to someone or a friend of yours. Number 2 is remember to breathe. What would kind of a third tip to overcoming fear be?
A third tip, and I use this all the time, with this course I created, you could probably see it. Well, if I didn't edit it out, you could see it in every video. Sometimes it is there, is I'm smiling at the beginning of the take, because that, like, it's muscle memory. If I'm like this at the beginning of a video, I'm going to look happier, because I'm going to be happier. It's like when you smile, your face just remembers this, and it's just like, so I will literally, as I'm warming up, it'll be like, hi there, my name is Nate, and this, so it's like, but it's that instant moment where people see you on camera and they see you're happy, you're there's kind of a light in your face and in your eyes, and also it puts you, I think, in a good place, in a good spot, so that if you can smile at the beginning, it can also help, just you watching yourself back, or going into whatever you're doing, just starting with a smile can mentally and kind of physically put you in a good spot to record what you want to record.
Right. Great tips. So those are great tips for overcoming your fear when you're on camera. But do you have 2 or 3 great tips for creating really great videos?
Of course.
Or more?
Well, I can be a real Shakespeare nerd, if push comes to shove. And one of the things I remember being taught were the 3 modes of persuasion and how they applied to Shakespeare. But it was pathos, ethos, and logos, these Greek terms that Aristotle created. And these are absolutely the same things you want to include in your videos. And what these terms mean, pathos is, appeal to passion, or, your passion. Ethos is your authority, your credibility on the topic. And logos is the clarity of your argument, is what you're saying actually makes sense. And so
Right.
these are things you all want to think about, is that how can you speak from your authority, your credibility on the topic? How can you include not only your passion on the topic, whether that's a particular angle or bend that you find really exciting, but also to
Right.
to appeal to your audience's emotions and passions, and then to make it a very clear. If it can be eloquent argument, just about what you're talking about, so that it's clear that we can follow what you're saying. A follows from B,
Right.
proceeds to C, that kind of stuff.
Right.
It doesn't need to be, logical format structure, but that's the kind of stuff you want to keep in mind. I mean, I always think about Martin Luther King Jr. as the epitome of these three qualities. Now, there was only one of him, but yet you can look at how his background and what he did really shaped these qualities in him, and how he could, and certainly later in life, how he always was able to bring his authority, his credibility, his passion, his clarity on the topic to whatever he did. So, whether it's Martin Luther King or, a lot of other examples out there, you can look at those same things. Bringing it in a little bit more specifically, if you're doing an opt-in video, it's like, well, who are you? What do you have? How is it going to help people? And how do they get it? It's that's simple.
Right.
That's really all we need to know. We don't need a 15-minute
Right.
video. It's just,
Exactly.
why should we trust you? What did you create? What are the benefits?
What's
and
in it
how do
for
I get
me?
it?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that that's so important because everyone always asks like, what's the optimum length for a video? When it comes to that, and I say it depends because, like you said, it's for this. We're doing kind of an in-depth interview. It's okay for us to go over 10 minutes long. If you've got a website intro video, maybe you want to keep that 2 minutes or less because you're going to lose people. It all just depends on the purpose of the video and what you're using it for. So I don't know that there's an optimum length for every video you might put on your website, but you have to think about, like you said, the purpose and the audience and what is it that you're trying to accomplish.
And it also, connects back to that trust and credibility, that if I come to your website for the first time, I don't know anything about you.
Exactly.
You haven't built any trust or credibility with me. Why would I invest 20 minutes in a video that, of course, maybe the headline sounds good, but, at that point, it's like, well, no, I just want to invest like maybe 2 minutes of my time to figure out, like, okay, yeah, this
And then
person
you
has
send
something.
another video that gives me more information if I'm interested.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Once I've known, like, oh, Maria has stuff that I really get a lot of value of. Oh, she's put together a
Right.
15-minute video. Yeah, of course I'll watch that.
Right. Right. Love it. Love it. What do you think are the different ways that a brand or a business, especially, I have a lot of people in my audience that are solo entrepreneurs, or freelancers. They're doing their own thing. They're a one-person band. What are the different ways that they could use video for their brand or their business? Can you give us maybe the highlights
Yeah.
of, than just, oh, I need something on my homepage? Like, what are some other ideas or some unique or clever ways that you've seen people use video?
Yeah, I mean, in addition to the standard, the welcome video, opt-in video, about page video, using them in your blogs. I mean, there are also, you can get also a little more specific. There's like the rant or editorial kind of blog where like you are just, you are totally frustrated by something, or you see other people are frustrated by something.
Getting all Lewis Black on people.
Yeah, and exactly, you really want to you just want to take off. Like, if you have a solution, also great, but maybe it's just a video to like rile up the troops. There are those kinds of things. There could be, here's a behind the scenes look at this, new product we're creating, or a behind the scenes look at our team, or whatever. There's just ways to, take people around the office, or showing them your desk, or how you're working on the next project.
Day in
Like,
your life.
exactly, that kind of stuff. There are, if you do, a demonstration video or how to do something, or if there's like a new product review, like something some company just came out with a new version of the software, and you can do, a demo of that. Screencasts are another great thing, and there's even there's some free. I can't think of it right now, but there's a free Chrome tool that allows you to create screencasts without needing any other software, and it saves them automatically to like YouTube
wow.
and Google Drive, and it just puts a little picture in picture, and it's really easy and cool. I've actually done that. There's one example on my site of doing like an audit slash critique. You can also do that way. Like, I've gone on one of my readers asked me to critique one of his videos, so I show the video, and I'm there in the bottom corner talking about the video that all of us are watching at the same time, because I can press
Oh, that's
play,
great.
watch the
Yeah.
video, and then I can give my feedback.
Yeah.
And so that's another way you can use videos. And I'll give you just another quick one. Google Hangouts is great. It's free technology. It's super simple. You just connect to it, and you can either do like, a Q&A show where even if you don't have people, sending you questions live, you get a bunch of questions in advance, and then you record it and answer all the questions. You could have a panel show, or maybe you bring on 3 or 4 or 5 other people to talk about a specific topic, and whether that's a weekly or a monthly thing you do, fine. Or it could just be a one-on-one interview like we're doing here. I mean, there are so many uses of video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that comes to mind. It's funny now the rant Lewis Black thing is so stuck in my head. I can only like see him now, just like
I
screaming
know.
on camera.
See him. Blah.
Right. So I mean, there's just tons and tons of ways to use video, and people are being very creative. So even if you don't have any of the editing skills, or don't want to have any of the editing skills, you don't have to. You hit start, you do your thing, you hit stop. And then even if you just have, QuickTime or another simple computer, you just trim off the edges. You just trim off the beginning and the end, and that's it. I mean, for all of the course videos I did, that's all I did. Because I knew I had to do about 60 videos.
Right.
And the only way I'd be able to get that done is making the process simple to begin with. Now, if I want to create different iterations of the course down the road, like maybe it'll be a full studio setup at some point. But for right now, it was a very simple video, chopped off the beginning and the end, where I prepared and then I hit stop, and that was it. So, it's really about finding something that you enjoy doing, and then just playing with the process.
So let's say someone has nothing, right? They've never done video. Can you tell them these are the 3 things I recommend you use to create your first video
Do you mean in terms of
and edit it?
like gear?
Tools. Yeah,
Yeah.
tools or technology, or nothing. Let's say everything. Let's make it challenging. Let's say nothing they have to buy.
Right. So if you have a computer, which I'm going to assume
Well, they already
you
have
do,
that. Yeah. Assuming they do, since they have a business. Yeah.
right. Use the inboard camera and microphone like that. You can just use that to use on a Mac. You can open up QuickTime and hit New Movie, and you record yourself, and ta-da, it's done.
So in QuickTime.
Yeah, you can do that in
Right.
QuickTime, or I guess in Photo Booth. Though some people have, I've never used it, but I guess in Photo Booth it reverses text, so it's actually a flipped mirror image of. So if you had something written on, your T-shirt, it would actually show up as backwards on Photo Booth. So
Yeah.
there was something I caught someone else talking about. So I've just used QuickTime, and I don't see any issues with that. So that's a super easy way, and then upload it to YouTube. With QuickTime, again, you can trim.
And you can edit it in QuickTime. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's nothing fancy, but literally if you need to trim
Right.
the beginning and the end off, you just pull up that menu, and then you pull in
Take
the
the little
sliders.
lines.
Yep.
Yeah,
You bring
exactly.
them in and then go, okay, that's where I want to start, and that's where I want to stop, and done.
Yeah.
You could also just upload the entire video to YouTube, and there are some YouTube editing tools, very similar, very simple. They'll also let you do some transitions or other stuff, but
Right.
keeping it very simple, just
So-
cut the beginning and off the end. The other thing I'll say is if you don't like your computer, for some reason
I
you
was
don't
going to
have
say,
a
can you just use your iPhone?
yeah, I mean, and I have
Or your
this is
smartphone.
an iPhone 4S. Like this isn't even the
Yeah.
latest and greatest, but it's
Yeah.
got HD video, and there are a lot of videos I've recorded where I just I turn it on, and with this version of the iPhone, the camera facing me isn't that great quality, so I have to get like really skilled and like have it point at me.
Right.
From
And
behind.
hope
So-
that you're in frame.
yeah, well, I mean, I've learned a couple tricks along the way to like make sure I
Right.
am, but
Right.
that is another way that you can record a video again on the the Photos application or camera application, you can trim off the beginning and the end, and then you can upload directly to YouTube from your phone. So it's just like, I mean, it's really taking the work out of
Out of
making
it.
videos. You know,
Right.
it's just like whether you use a smartphone, and this isn't even the latest or greatest technology, or you use, you know, the thing that came with your computer. That's all you need. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. Some of the best videos I've enjoyed are people shooting videos on their phone or on their laptop.
Right.
Like, that's it. I mean, of course, we all love, you know, really slick edited
Yeah.
videos, but that's not always in the cards.
Yeah, I have to say, there's someone who is really big now, and I have followed her videos for a long time, and watched the evolution of them from her webcam to a very small studio to now a very polished and produced, almost talk show type thing, and they're still wonderful. It's wonderful content. She's amazing, but I miss kind of the more authentic grittiness of maybe the ones she did in the middle,
Sure.
where it was still a little bit, there was a background, it was edited,
Right.
but there's just something about that natural, organic, again, make sure you can be seen, make sure there's good lighting, right? Then people can see you in the video, make sure the sound quality is okay.
Right.
Those are the basics, but it doesn't need to be fancy. I mean, you can sort of like set design your own. I've done that for videos that I've done for my website. It's like
Sure.
I've just taken stuff from around my house and set designed something behind me, and it looks nice and it looks professional. And as long as I'm sitting there where maybe a window or a light is facing me,
Exactly.
it'll be okay. So yeah, I think like you said earlier in this interview, there's a lot of things I think mentally we put in our path of why we can't be doing these things, and really it's the fear is something else. It's not really about that. It's not about the, oh, I don't have access to a studio or I don't have access to a videographer. It's just that fear of doing it and being a perfectionist about it, as you said. So
Absolutely. And I can tell that, you know, my background might even look a little cavernous, like maybe it's a little dark behind me, but it's like, I don't care. I mean, I could get caught up in that, but it's like,
Right.
look, the people who are watching this to try to, you know, get over their fears, they're not going to be focused on that. And I can't be, you know, like, yeah,
Exactly.
I could have spent, you know, an hour or two trying to make this look pretty, but it's like
Right.
natural light, lamp, you know,
Right.
microphone, that's it. That's all I need, you know.
Right. We're all good. We're all good. So given your expertise in this area, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about a course that you're rolling out, which I'm excited to talk to. Kind of my last question for you is, what still challenges you about video? After all the video work that you've done, all the on-camera work that you've done, is there sort of a like, don't worry, this even vexes the most experienced video performers? What would you say you still struggle with?
You know, what I'm working on now is really trying to get even more clear in my videos, because I've always been or because I have done this for so long, just kind of winging it. You know, I'll just hit record and talk. I'm very comfortable with that. Now that I'm trying to look at, okay, if I only want to have a 90-second video, what the hell am I going to say in that?
Right.
And how can I be succinct, to the point? And, you know, there is a little bit of, I mean, I'm okay with memorizing things, but there's crafting the language, you know.
So
And
do you script it, or do you just do sort of an outline?
there are some, like my opt-in video is a little scripted, but there's a little bit of improv. Like, you know, that one I more had bullet points, you know, the things I wanted to hit. But it's kind of really just staying on track, because I don't use a teleprompter. I haven't, and so I just don't feel like I need to. Like, I trust my memory well enough. I mean, but there are times where I'm just like, oh, I missed point number 3. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go back and film this.
Yeah,
You know, but it's less about, you know, getting it like every word absolutely perfect,
Right.
and just making sure, like, I string it together the way I want to. You know, if I've written it out, it's like, yeah, this flows well. I like how this sounds. So, okay, let me just try to like sit and like, you know, think through this mentally and maybe run through it a couple times. But it is that crafting part that can be a challenge, you know, if you're not using a teleprompter. And of course, if you are using a teleprompter, then it introduces, you know, new challenges of, you know, making it sound alive and natural the first time you read it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Great. Well, thanks for sharing all this wonderful advice. And so tell us a little bit more about where people can find you and also about the course that you're going to be rolling out here pretty soon, because I think that's going to be of interest to a lot of people.
Sure, yeah. So, as you mentioned, if you go to nathanagan.com, agin.com right now, that's the blog and the main site for videos in one take. But the course is, really a way I felt to kind of get out there everything that I felt like I knew on this topic. So there's four modules there. It takes you through the connection piece that we talked a little bit about in terms of connecting with the camera, connecting with your audience. Takes you through the sound of your message, and that is kind of your instrument. How do you train your voice so that because a lot of people are caught up in like, I don't like how I sound and all this other stuff, and so
Yeah.
it's very much from an acting perspective, what are the things you can do to become more confident with your voice, to find, where your voice is most resonant, those kinds of technical things you can work on. Then we
Right.
look at the message in terms of,
I have to interrupt
yeah,
you on
sure.
there. Do you talk about sort of the verbal tics that people have and how to avoid them, the ums, the upswings at the ends of the sentences, like things like that?
I do definitely talk about up endings and down endings and circumflexes and all that kind of stuff. And
Okay, great.
it's definitely, it's all in this vein of, I'm not trying to make you into anything. It's more about becoming very comfortable with what you already have, and then maybe
And
just refining it a
message.
little bit. Um,
Right.
because I still, as I did just then, sometimes will say or ah, and
Oh yeah, we all
it's
do.
of
We
course,
all do.
like, it's fine. But yeah,
Right.
there is this kind of oh, what's the word? Not, well, well, all right. For lack of a better word, there is this kind of disease in the American language or the
Yeah.
American speaking vocabulary of
Yeah.
it's just horrible. And we don't all need to sound like foppish British acting students, but
No. No.
how do you just become more comfortable with that? So we cover that. We talk about then the message. How can you be more clear and articulate in your argument? What does that look like? Not only from a kind of classical rhetorical standpoint, but then also on camera, looking at taking your time and all this kind of stuff. And then a very brief overview on some gear, things to think about, a little more technical stuff, like what do you wear on camera, where do you look, what to do with your hands, and all
Right.
this other things, that all these other questions that people invent as these are the reasons I can't do a video. So
Exactly.
I
Those
put
mental
together, I tried to put
blocks that
together all of these things that I felt was helpful, that I've learned over the years, for probably over the
right.
last 5-10 years, being an actor, being an entrepreneur, and putting this into this course, and structuring it in a way that I felt would be very helpful. And there's a lot of different ways to interact with the material. Of course, there's video, there's also written stuff, and there are ideas to evolve the
Yeah.
course as well.
Great. And so what's your sort of final gem of wisdom to kind of encompass everything that we've talked about here? If someone's thinking about, wow, I should be doing more video, but I'm not sure about how to go about it, what would be one nugget of wisdom you can wrap us up with?
I would say just do the first one.
I like
Because
it. Practice makes perfect.
yeah, I mean, it could be horrible. You might throw it away. You might never want to show it to anyone, but that's fine.
Right.
Then you've just done the first one, and then do the next one. And but
Right.
don't belabor the point.
Hmm.
Do it. Maybe even share it with an online Facebook group or something. Get a couple ideas for feedback, and then just do the next one.
Right.
It really is that simple. Of course, in your head, it's this monumental project
Of
that you
course.
care a lot about, and I get that. But just
Right.
just start, just do it.
Yeah. You can always erase and re-record, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. Hope everyone will check out nathanagan.com,
Yeah.
and thanks for tuning in.